Good afternoon, folks. My name is Brian Conley, and this is Bud Escabel, and we're from Salesforce. I think we're between you and taking a break before the concert. Is that right? So this is all about the Salesforce Lightning platform. How many of you are Salesforce customers? Raise a show of hands. Kind of everyone. Has your AE approached you about the Salesforce platform? Just yet? Yes? Yes. Are you guys running both?
We're just running Classic.
Just running Classic? Because you're an inside sales customer as well? How many inside sales customers? Practically everyone? Okay, great. So I think if you guys saw the presentation this morning where Jared showed the playbook, and when he punched the go to Salesforce, he brought this application up in the Salesforce Lightning platform. Oh, what does that look like, right? So we're going to give you guys a thumbnail of what you can expect from the Salesforce Lightning. I'm joined by Bud, and he's going to do more of a show and tell. Rather than kind of go through all the PowerPoints that we have, we're going to go very quick. Does that work for everyone?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah. All right, so I have to put this up. This is just to say that because what we're presenting today is kind of a look forward, you should not make any purchasing decisions. You guys have seen this, right? Any purchases decisions on stock based on what we're going to talk about today. All right, so we've been on a 3-year journey, if you will, to reimagine CRM. Imagine Salesforce reimagining CRM, right? And it's all about me, right? Salesforce, for quite some time, has taken a look at the consumer market as well as what's best for the enterprise market. And they're keeping in mind me and how I might use a device to do my job as a salesperson. So what do we do? What did we do in 2013? How many of you are familiar with the Salesforce One platform, right? Where we gave developers and customers the opportunity to build a lightweight version of their solution, right, on their mobile device, accessing the mothership in the cloud. So in 2014, we announced the Lightning Development Platform. And that laid the groundwork for the new reimagined productivity environment for all devices, wearables, tablets, wablets. And that's the Lightning experience. And so you guys have probably seen this. Anyone who is a new Salesforce customer out of the box, what's happening is we're shipping Lightning. And your admin has to consciously make the decision to flip the switch and go back to Classic. Any questions about that? Everyone knows how that's working? And so one of the questions, and why we put this slide in here, is just to say Lightning has a lot of momentum, right? We don't want to leave anyone behind. We have over 90K customers, over 1 million plus users, both using Salesforce One. Oh, don't go out again. And the Lightning experience. And so I'm going to quickly move because I don't want Bud to get into the demo here.
All righty, let me show you a different screen here if I can. You guys hear me all right? Perfect. So I'm logged into Salesforce, and you're looking at the Lightning user experience, as we like to call it. So it looks a little different, right? The story behind this is you guys have been on Classic, as we now call it, or the Aloha UI, or whatever other name we've come up with over the years. I started out my career as a customer. I was an admin in an IT organization. I worked in the business. I've done implementations. So I've been around. I know I look young. I've been around longer than it seems. And I've seen all of it, right? I saw the new skin come out. I was like, ooh, new colors. Wow. So this is really a ground-up thing, right? It's not just a new page. It's not just a prettier look and feel. It's from the ground up, and we'll talk a lot about it today and hopefully answer some of the questions you have. The biggest thing that we're looking at is we call it a componentized UI framework. And what that means is building blocks, right? Building those components and being able to do what we can do in our app, where we're all about clicks, not code, right? Let's build workflow rules. Let's do page layouts with just clicks and drags and drops. Let's start to do that with UI. Up till today, if you wanted to customize the UI, you get a developer, you make a Visualforce page. So where we're going in the future is we're going to give you components. App Exchange partners that are Lightning ready are going to give you components. You're going to be able to build your own, and we'll be able to drag and drop that right into a page in an area, and you can kind of start that customization. Of course, you can go full custom and still use Visualforce or code if you'd like, but this is what it looks like. So out of the box, this is our new homepage. For me personally, like I say, I've been using Salesforce a long, long time, and I don't even use the old homepage because it doesn't have a lot of value for me. So I actually like where some of our ideas are going. The biggest thing here is instead of our dashboard components, we're doing one big chart. So for salespeople, that's what the focus is on now. You have your quota and you have your attainment for a quarter. And so that's the main focus. Where am I at? Where do I need to be? I can actually come in here and regardless of what my quota is and how much I've done to close business to that, I can actually change my goal. So if I was at 500K and I wanted to add $1 million, I can actually change that here, and it's just going to change and add a little line for me. So a little bit of starting down the road of how am I doing today. Over here on the right, we call this the assistant. So Salesforce, we've made several acquisitions over the years into data intelligence. One of our latest acquisitions was a machine learning company, right? So we haven't fully applied all of that, but where we're starting to go and where we're starting to think about is not just, my data lives in the tool. It's a good place to store it. But every day, I've got to log in and I've got to know what to do, right? That's where we're at today. I've got to know what tasks I have out there or what opportunities I need to go update. Now the system is going to start to tell us what to do. So when I log into my home page, if you see over here, I have a bunch of new leads, so it's doing lead assignment. But the other thing we do over here is stale opportunities, right? So if you've created an opportunity and there's no activity in the last 30 days, let's put it in the assistant on the right. If you have an activity but you haven't completed it and it's overdue, let's put it in the assistant on the right. Right, so a lot of those scenarios about there's things I need to do and things I need to action right on my home page. Some typical things we're used to, right? Recent records, finding where we've been, what's going on. If I had tasks and I had events going on, this component is newer for spring, the top deals. But really, that's our home page, right? And if you've noticed, if you look at this little, we call it the hamburger or the navigation menu, it looks really familiar to anybody if you've used the phone app, right? So the story behind Lightning is it's the same technology. We learned a lot in building Salesforce 1 in the mobile app, and we said, wow, that makes a lot of sense, and why don't we use that for the desktop for a lot of things? So the underlying technology behind all of this is the same. And the other thing that they put a lot of time, effort, and let's just say studying, right? They studied how people were using Salesforce. It's all around adoption. Right, so we want to make the look and feel and the usability and all of that very similar between the desktop and the mobile app so that we can get more of your users adopting. All right, so enough of the home page. What are we actually looking at here? Let's actually search for a better one. So we still have our global search. If you guys are using global search, that's still there. Everything about it's good. So a new account page. So a couple different concepts in the Lightning UI is an account we find to be more of a reference page. Right, so I don't go and do a lot on an account page, right? I'm not updating the fields a lot. I should know what their revenue is. I should know how many employees they have, what their address is. I don't make a lot of updates. Really why I go to an account is to get that 360 view of the customer, and in our world we call those related items or related lists. And so that's the number one thing that I'm giving the most real estate to is all of my related lists. So I have my contacts, my opportunities, my cases. A couple of the really nice things here, if you look at opportunities, when I do a hover, I get that information. If I actually click the down arrow and click Edit, I get this pop-up page, and I can edit the opportunity without having to click into it. So one of the slides Brian showed was all about the productivity. That's what we're focusing on, and that's really what they went after here is they wanted to reduce clicks, reduce screens, make it cleaner of a UI for people to use, easier to find things. So that's where you see some of these things where I can see more information on a hover, not just my old mini-page layout. I can actually, on some of these, I can see related lists. If I look at like a contact, I don't just see their record. Now I see related lists. I see cases. I see opportunities. All right, so trying to do a better job of using that real estate. And then you also notice we don't just have the one-page scroll thing going on. Right, we're trying to take better advantage of the real estate. So I've got this related stuff going on over here on the left, and I have my activities and collaboration, or if you're using Chatter today, this is Chatter. It's just in a different place and it's got a new header. So that's kind of the layout of the page. And in account, we'll look at opportunities and other things next. Up here, my buttons, my quick actions, all of that, that's where that's going to live, right, if you're using that today. And the one thing you'll notice, too, is right here on the account page is we have this thing called an account insight. So this is us. Again, it's a Lightning component that we've built, right, something we're giving to the Lightning UI out of the box. But it's going out and looking at news feeds. And I always tell people my accolade, I'm kind of lazy. I don't go to the internet very often and search my customer stuff. but I'm on their account page all the time, so it's nice that it'll search it for me, and it brings in kind of relevant news articles right within the account page, and I don't have to go do my Yahoo or Google or whatever engine you use to search. I also get the ability to approve my results. So if I'm using this account and I'm looking at the articles and they just don't seem like they make sense to me, we're getting that recommendation, promoted. I want to see more things like this. I want to see less things like that. So we have a little bit of intelligence behind it. Of course, if you hit see more news, we don't just get the 3 tiles. You get the whole news feed going on here. We have general. If you go to the homepage, account insights, you get industry news, right, all in one place. And if you actually click one of these, all we're doing is taking you out to the link. So it's just a nice news aggregator into one place. So what's the other thing we do a lot of? We work with opportunities. This is where we're showing just a little different of a page and a view. So I kind of mentioned that account page is the idea of a reference. Well, in an opportunity, this is where we're doing a lot of activities, right? We're updating fields a lot. We're actually entering calls, tasks, activities, doing email, all from this one screen. So that's what we gave the most screen real estate to. We put that on the left, and then our related lists are over here on the right. So a little different concepts of what's going on the screen. Same thing, here's my collaboration, here's my details that I can edit. Inline editing, still there, right? The nice thing is it doesn't edit the whole page, it just shows me what I need to edit. I can add some stuff here, and it's going to turn that yellow, and now I have to hit save to get through it. Very top of the page, another component that's coming out of the box with Lightning from us is what we call sales path. So I call this guided selling. You can use it for whatever you'd like, but stage by stage, I get to define what are my key fields and what's my guidance for success. So if I'm on qualification, you can see, here's description, project budgeted, and what my next step is. And as I go stage by stage, everything's changing. And so the nice thing here is there's lots of methodologies out there for sales, and some of you might be using some App Exchange partners. We do internally as well. This is some of that lightweightness, right? You may want to go heavy one day. Right now, out of the box, you have an ability to give your people kind of some recommendations of what activities they need to do to get to the next stage. Of course, we can shrink that for our people that don't want to see it anymore, maybe our expert reps. And in the second demo, we'll talk about how we can actually move components around and delete stuff off the page. Back to opportunities, showing some of the differences in list views. So if I go to My Open instead of this, my current recent ones, same thing. We're looking at a list view. But the nice thing about list views in Lightning is we've got a little more functionality, right? They're not just lists. If anybody's familiar with a Kanban view of opportunities, I get that intelligence, right? Using that same kind of assistant methodology, I get these little warning signs that I don't have tasks that have created or I have overdue ones. But I can also, if I'm just updating my opportunities through stages, I just drag and drop this guy out of one stage and into the other, updates my view and changes the stage, right? I don't have to edit every single opportunity if I'm just moving things through the stage. So that's really nice. I really enjoy that. And then this one seems very simplistic, but I love it. I've always described list views as a single object report, right? So we're just running a report, but we can only do one object in that report. Well, if we're doing a report, wouldn't it be nice to see a graph? If you're a more visual person like myself. And there we are, right? We can actually put a chart right on the page of a list view so that we can start to get a visual of what's going on in our pipe as well as different views between lists, grids, et cetera. All right, so I'm going to leave anywhere and everywhere we want in the UI. I wanted to show you those couple pages. Obviously, we have leads and campaigns and other stuff. Just other things I want to point out. This was a big one for me. If you ever have tasks and activities, the only place you can see a full list of everything that was going on is on the home page, right? Or there's an App Exchange partner out there that builds a tab for all the tasks in the system. And let's look at all things if I can find some in my demo org. So here's some completed stuff. So now I have my own home page, so to speak, for all my tasks. And I can actually, if these weren't completed, I gotta undo them. But I can come in here in a single click, complete the task by just checking the box. I can also see the details of that task on the right, update it, you name it, right? If you're a very task-oriented business, which I think a lot of us are, right? We're assigning tasks. That's kind of the point of tracking what we're doing on opportunities. We now have a page we can see all of that in one place, which is really nice. And if you guys have been using Salesforce for a little while, if it looks familiar to the phone, it does, right? Tasks showed up on a page on the phone before it hit the Lightning UI. So that's where you're starting to see these two worlds come together. So I'll pause, like I say, lots of things. If you say, hey, what's this, what's that, how do we do that? But I want to show you a little bit of the behind-the-scenes stuff, a little more technical deep dive, so we'll come back to it.
Any immediate questions?
Yeah.
Can sales path be used on contact object or custom object?
Right now, sales path is for lead and opportunity only. So not yet.
I have two questions.
Yes,
Sure.
sir.
Is there a inside sales dialer panel component already created for Lightning?
So that's what I think we saw this morning. Is they're Lightning ready as of today.
So yeah, there's one piece of technology that's coming in the summer release, and that's our OpenCTI.
Okay.
And so they're dependent on that. Once we deliver on the OpenCTI, they'll be in the market with this solution. Does that work for you?
That's great. Second question, on the related list, was there a way to like pick the related list off of a record without having to scroll all the way down?
So let's go back to an account and you can point me in the right direction.
Yeah. So if you wanted to just see what all the related lists are without having to scroll down.
Yeah, I know you're talking about hover links.
Hover links.
Yeah, old school hover links.
Or at least a pick list where I could pick it and jump down.
Yeah, not yet.
That's too bad.
Yeah, so the nice thing, though, I agree, but the nice thing overall is this was a huge overhaul for us, right? I mean, we had basically had the UI hard-coded into a lot of pages, so to redo it or to start over was an enormous effort. But the reason we talk about it as a platform, just we use that word on a lot of things, but a UI as a platform, we've constructed this, we've architected this to where you will see updates in the Lightning UI every release from now to the end of time because we can do it. So we've made it to where we can iterate on it much easier than the past.
Yeah, and you've come a long way from the first rollout of it, and I've seen this stuff from the summer. That'd be great. It's probably still 6 to 9 months before we can change to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a pretty large order, but thanks for the demo. It's great.
Well, and also, those are the questions that I can help with. So I've done a lot of things, but I help a lot of customers with should we do it or shouldn't we do it? If you have that question or how to go about it, happy to, we'll take that at the end and we'll talk about it.
And for the diehard Classic users, Classic's not going away. Just know that.
Is there any diehard Classic users? Is there anyone that's like, oh, I just got to stay on Classic?
We know for now we have to stay on Classic, but I don't
Yeah, that's a have to.
Well, for us, like we export a lot of our reports, and I don't think we can
I know, isn't that strange? We'll get there though.
Yeah.
I have not seen. I'm not deep in the summer release notes to see if we're there for summer. But yeah, I actually run into that all the time. It's annoying, and that's the one reason I have to go back and forth a lot.
Are any of you folks attending Dreamforce coming up in October? Yeah. I mean the one coming up. So most of these questions that you have, you're going to see a version that addresses those. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I say the iteration is much easier for us. So we didn't have to completely redo it, and the first time we put it out the door was like, that's it. This is all it's going to be.
Yeah.
That's why we're continuing to add pages for things that aren't there. Spring brought in a lot of objects. Summer's bringing in more objects. We still have some data.com pages to do if you're using data.com. There's a lot of things when you think about Salesforce nowadays that we got to go after and do before they can show up in Lightning. But the nice thing is we have the platform to do it, and we're iterating, I would say, quickly.
All right. So
Back to that.
so this next slide, kind of a marketing slide, but it's to say that Lightning empowers everyone who's got some ability of technical skills. It has our built-in enterprise capabilities, and it's the same trusted platform that you guys are used to. You heard Bud talk a little bit about the notion of Lightning components. I think everyone understands that, right? Think of it as building blocks, Legos. You put those together, and what does that give you? Speed, scalability, reuse, all in an effort to get things built and quickly out and executed. How many of you folks are familiar with the App Exchange? That should be everyone in the room, right? And I think you guys know what the App Exchange is, right? It's where we have a number of applications, technologies, and tool sets that bridge the gap between what Salesforce delivers out of the box and what our customers' requirements are, right? And you can download those. You guys are familiar with that. Well, we're introducing, and this is available today, the Lightning Exchange. So all of these components, right, that are being built and the application versions from our partners that are Lightning ready, they exist on the Lightning Exchange. So, you know, the same thing in terms of ease of use, easy installation. You can mix and match.
I'll go back to it. I'll show some of the, there's quite a few out there already.
And with the Lightning experience, we're allowing you the capability within your org to have access to the Exchange, which is pretty cool. And this next slide is just really to say we're making it very easy for those of you who want to roll up your sleeves and develop. Customized without coding, faster integration, and of course, declarative and programmatic. I'd still be developing if they had this stuff. And this is just a snapshot, excuse me, of the app development environment. And Community Builder, pre-built templates, express your brand, and I'll hand it over to Bud to quickly show you what that's all about.
Yeah. All right. So really, let's go into that opportunity, and we can do it on an account page as well. But you know, we saw just a quick screenshot of, okay, so how the heck do we actually modify this and edit this? And we don't just have setup home, we don't just have page layouts, there's actually an edit this page. And this actually takes us into the Lightning App Builder. So if you've been in Salesforce for a little while, the App Builder's been out for several releases, and it was just for the mobile device. Right? So we were starting to get this framework in place, and I could build my own dashboard. Right? I go into the Today app, or I go into my app on the thing. I could see my specific dashboard. I could see related lists. But still, like I built one, and I was like, wow, there's like 4 things. Right? That's not really helpful. Now there's a lot more things, and there's going to be even more things. And the fact that the framework's there is we can build stuff now. So for example, here we talked about this sales path and guidance for success. Let's say that I don't want that, right? That's annoying. Just get rid of it. That's it, right? I mean, I just hit the X button on that component. If I want to drag and drop it back in, I just pick up sales path and say put it there. I show up, here's a rich text component if I wanted to. Maybe there's an account or a bunch of accounts, or I want to warn all of my salespeople that today that, you know, that they need to go do something, or there's a big something going on or whatever. So I can put all this stuff. It's going to put it right in the header. Of course, I can bold it and center it and make it prettier. But all of that done, right? I mean, I'm not a developer. I'm a technical person, but not a hard coder. And so you see the things we can do here. All of these are kind of in the page already. Let's imagine, you know, if you're not using Chatter, shame on you. But if I don't want that Collaborate tab, right, I can get rid of it. If I want to see my details before my activities, no big deal. Let's just rearrange them. Right, so we're giving you the ability to just customize the UI a lot more than we did in the past. But as we were saying, I don't have any in this demo org. But if I go to the App Exchange, or I've built my own, by the way, so if you're building Visualforce pages, or you've got a big project going on in the future, consider building Lightning components. It's very similar. The difference is reusability. So a Visualforce page, in my mind, is a single-use, single page. And the reason I love to show the Community Builder, and we'll talk about that and what it is and all that good stuff, is because it shows reusability. Right? If I build a page for my internal folks, I've got to build that page. If I want to turn around and build a similar page for my community people, I've got to build that page. And now I've got 2 pages. I have one internal and one external. But imagine if I just were to build a Lightning component that at the top of the page or in the code tells me if you're an internal user, show this, and if you're an external user, show that. I build it once, I use it once, I can drag it in both and drag and drop it in both places, and away I go. So that's where the reusability starts to come in. The other thing is on multiple pages. So I use the news one. We kind of have a news one, but imagine we wanted to take a news feed and put it on my opportunity page and on my account page and on my home page. I can build that news feed once, and I can drag and drop it into the UI any way I want. A good example of that, if we get out of here for a second, is that the news feed that we've actually made. So we've got to watch our butterfly for a little bit. So if I come to this page, this account insights is looking at lots of different customers, right? So it's looking at all the accounts that I'm interacting with, the accounts pages that I've actually been on recently, and that's how it's bringing which articles to show me. So that's my home page, though, right? It's all my accounts. So if I have multiple accounts, I'm getting all of the various different accounts in this feed. But when I go to that account page and I look at the account insights, this is specific to this one account that I'm on. So this is only for this customer. And how we've done that in the background is it's one component, right? One component, and we know whether you're on a home page or you're on a detail page, and that's how we're driving that. So it's a good example, at least, of usability for you. Build once, use in multiple places. All right, so communities is, for whatever reason, one of my favorite things. So anybody using communities today? A couple people? So communities, for those that aren't using it or maybe you've not heard of it, it's a really easy way to take any or all of your Salesforce and expose it externally, right? To a lot of times we have customer communities. So the biggest example we see there is self-service. So I'm doing service over the phone. I have a knowledge base in Salesforce already. I want to expose that out to customers and let them go search the knowledge base themselves first. Maybe do some case deflection, right? Allow them to take care of their own issues before they ever pick up the phone and call me. That's one example. Another example would be partner communities. If you're working with other partners, right, and they're part of your lead process, they're part of your opportunity process, we want to do deal registration, any of that kind of thing, we can do that in a community. We can make them part of the process. They're either going to create records that then we review and send back and say, OK, we've approved this and you can work it. Or maybe we get leads and we're pushing them out to partners. Right, so we have leads and we're qualifying them and we're doing this, and then we're saying, OK, you're the partner for this kind of lead, you're the partner for that kind of lead. And they're going to their community and they're working on the leads right there, right? But it's us exposing that really easily. The other example that we're starting to see more and more of is what we call an employee community. So you have how many salespeople, right? Let's say you have 1,000 people in your organization, you have 200 salespeople, and so they're all working together. Maybe they're all collaborating, and they're maybe even using a Force app, or I guess we call it App Cloud now, a custom app that you've built. What about the other 800 people in your company? What if you want to get them involved in the collaboration? What if you want to have their single sign-on in one place? That's where we use a community, but we do it for internal, and we call it an employee community. All right. So those are the examples. That's what we're doing. We'll show you what this looks like in a preview here. But I'm in the builder. So this is a community builder. This is using what we call community templates. So if you're using community out of the box, you get access to templates. The nice thing about this is I think the biggest drawback for communities for us in the past has been it's a great way to expose process. It's a great way to expose data. When it comes to UI, it was all on you or a partner to build it for you. It was all Visualforce pages, right? That was the only way to do UI. So now this may not work for everybody, but if you need to spin up a community and get it, we can do it, and we can do it very quickly. So here's let's do a quick preview. This is a self-service customer community. Right, so I have my topics. We're supposing that we're a computer telephony, or not telephony. We're selling headphones and peripherals and speakers and all kinds of stuff. But I can come in here, right, and I can search for my projector is broken. And now you see both discussion forums and articles. Right, we're doing global search across basically knowledge articles and chatter discussions. Chatter is the power behind questions. Right, and I can start to do searching and looking for my own stuff. I can start to come into topics and see discussions that people have already asked. I can start to look at the articles that are going on here. Right, you get the idea. This is what we're doing. But the nice thing is, right, these are just knowledge articles. You might be using the same set of knowledge articles for both your internal folks and your external folks. You might have a subset. Right, my internal call center people need to see these 100, and my external only have access to 50 of those 100. Even within the knowledge article, we can have fields that are specifically only for internal versus fields that my customers can see. Right? So a lot of power there, but super easy to expose it all over the place. And back to the whole talk of what we're looking at, you see these little boxes and all these components. It looks a little familiar to the other thing we were looking at. Same idea, right? Here, let's say we wanted to we're on the topic detail. Let's get to the home page. And let's say I actually wanted to embed a YouTube video right within this page. And I have my latest, greatest inside sales. We just launched the Lightning UI, right? Let's put that video right here instead of this welcome message. And let's just have it run and loop over and over and over again. So we can do that. We drag that component in there. It's YouTube. We have to give it a video ID. It looks like it's defaulted to some music. So this is where we say, do we want to go full screen when they hit the play button, or do we want to not? Let's go ahead and autoplay it. Let's loop it so it plays over and over and over again. We tell it how much screen real estate it's going to take. I can preview this, and boom, right? I just embedded YouTube right within my community. So that's the concept of reusability. We build that component once. We can use it internally. We can use it externally. And then on a template, we're using those various components we built to drive my UI and build, I would say, kind of our starting point for communities. One of the best things, because we're on communities, is let's just show you. When we talk about what we mean by exposing your data, your Salesforce data, and making it easy. So this was a self-service customer community. Now let's say, you know what? Let's actually make this a partner community. And let's create a new tab called Opportunity. Let's make it a Salesforce object. And let's use opportunities. And we get to decide whether this is publicly facing or sitting behind a login and what list view we show. And let's go ahead and publish that. And now what you see is I just added a tab right at the top. And now anybody with the right permissions, right? We got a role hierarchy. We've got our field permissions. We've got profiles driving all this stuff in the background. But when I preview this sucker and I get in opportunities, it's going to show me all the opportunities that are in Salesforce that I have access to. Right? So I just took a bunch of Salesforce data and I threw it out to an external user. And that's the idea of kind of community templates, is we give you the framework to do that quickly and easily and out of the box. If you want to brand this, you can brand it, right? But to an extent. We can do headers, we can do colors, we can do that kind of stuff. If this doesn't match the look and feel of your company brand and you want to go completely custom, that's where you go back to the old way and we start messing with some Visualforce. All right.
Question?
Yeah, right now there's, I think, 3 templates, right?
Yes.
Are there any plans to expand upon the number of templates that you guys have out there?
Yes, and for what I've seen and what I know about, so I only use the Napoli, whatever you want to call it. I think it's Napoli. I only use that template. I like it the best. It has the most functionality, and especially when it comes to these components.
Right.
So we're using that as the framework as far as going forward. So back in the day when I wanted to create a new page, I only had a couple options as far as what that page looked like in either of the templates. Now if I create a new page, right within here, you see that I actually get more options. So I get a 1 column, 2 column. Do I want it to, what's the ratio of those columns, up to 3 columns? That's all within Napoli, right? So to me, yes, we're doing more templates, but we're building on the Napoli templates, what we're really doing. So it's like 1 template technically, but we're giving you more and more components to solve for employee community. Safe Harbor coming soon, right? Right now, we're also working on a lot for partner community. So we do self-service communities out of the box. Pretty great, I would say. It's got what it needs. Look and feel, if you want to do it differently, I get it. But we got what it needs. When it comes to partner and employee, we're not there yet. But we're getting there. Because if I show you my demo org, I've got a lot of components that we're working on building in the background that I use for demos every day. They're not production quality yet, but that's where we're going with it, is demo components. Or I should say, sorry, Lightning components.
We've done a lot of community implementations for a partner. We've done a lot of community implementations, and it's good to see that that's starting to expand upon.
Great.
Yeah.
It felt a little constricted for the last few years.
And it is, we're getting there. I think there for a while we said, well, we don't want to be in the business of doing UI and doing that we wanted partners, if you're a partner like yourself, to do that for us. What we're seeing at the same time is we have a lot of customers saying, I just need something. I need something and I need it tomorrow. So you can you can do it with a template out of the box, and then let's figure out long term if we want to reskin it and make it look better.
And as a partner, being able to quickly implement on the basic community, to do the first phase rollout, that works great.
Right.
But they do want more.
Right,
So
right.
being able to use that as a second phase with more components.
And that's where I see it going, is phased approach, get them up and running quickly. And then for us, we're working on a lot of Lightning components, I'd say. I mean, that's the nice thing about that framework, is I have enough of the left, right, center concept, header, footer. All I need is more Lightning components that I can drag and drop on the page. Now, if you want to, like I say, you want to control the padding, old HTML talk, right? And you want to put it exactly in this one spot, and you want to make it pixel perfect, that's a phase 2 thing. But at least we can do more out of the box.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Other questions? Yes, sir.
Do you guys have any idea of when objects like entitlements will be ready for exposure?
Yeah, I don't. the biggest thing about entitlements in Service Cloud is I don't know personally what our direction is. So let me get out of here real quick and show you. So this is Lightning UI is all focused on sales right now and Sales Cloud out of the box. We do have case, right? If you come down here, somewhere in my scrolly is a case window. Right, so we can do cases in Lightning, but when it comes to entitlements and all that, we now assume you're talking Service Cloud. And so when I get into Service Cloud, almost every one of my customers that's doing Service Cloud is using the console view. Yeah. And so now I'm showing you what we call our Service Cloud console. So this is high volume, either telesales, inside sales, or or service. And so let's get into a case here and just pick one so you can see what this kind of looks like. So a slightly different UI. It has a lot of tabs, sub-tab structure, left, right, more control. My point is we show entitlements and we do all of that here. So I don't know that that's high on the priority list to bring into Lightning, the Lightning experience.
Yeah, our major thing is exposing entitlements, cases, opportunities, and leads to partners. So as we have several partners that are MSPs, so they manage end users for us, things like that. So them being able to get in, see the entitlements that they're in charge of managing, when they're coming due, so that they can reach out and engage for renewals and those types of things.
And you're using Community with that partner today? Yeah, so the nice thing about that Community UI that we were showing a second ago is within Communities, I have so many screens open, I don't remember which one I'm on anymore, sorry. Let me just go show it to you again. So that opportunity page that came up. So let's actually get into the real audio files here. Oh, I got to publish it, sorry. Good old live demos, I forgot to publish it. But what I wanted to show you, we'll just do a preview instead of trying to look at it, is if we go back to that opportunity record, it's not technically Lightning, right? It's the template that's driving that UI. So let's see, pages, preview. So when I come to this opportunity record, it looks similar to Lightning, right? If you look at the way that the page is set up, we've got the header across the top. I've got my left, right columns. I've got my sub-tabs for details and related. It technically, in the background, right, it's the same, but the colors are different and a few things are different. But if I were to take entitlements and drag that and drop that onto the page right now, it'll look just like this, right? Because it's using the Community framework in the background to do it. So technically, it's not in Lightning right now, but for a community, it can be the same look and feel as every other object. Now, if you're not using templates, you're doing your own UI anyways. So,
Can you do a search on Google on Salesforce Lightning, just on Google?
sure. So what do you want to show?
Scroll down. That one. Click there.
This one?
Yeah. So if you guys want to learn more about the experience and what you can expect, you had a question earlier about not being able to download reports. So if you go to this page, if you scroll down, keep going. So this is kind of everything you need to, we made it very easy, learn, prepare, all that good stuff. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, so these are the 2 releases, right?
Oh, look at you.
So in the summer release, there you go. There's your reports. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And everything you see, like I said, we'll be showing at Dreamforce.
Well, and by Dreamforce, we'll have another release out there, so we'll see what comes in the next one.
I see Visualforce in that list.
Yep.
Yeah.
So does that mean that all Visualforce pages that my customers currently have will actually be able to be viewed Lightning without adjustments, or am I going to have to make some adjustments?
So technically today, if you have a Visualforce component on a page layout, it'll render in Lightning, no problem. We recommend you tweak it to make it look more like Lightning, right? Because we changed some fonts and some colors, and it'll look funny, it'll look strange. But technically, it works. What I'm not sure about this one is whether or not that is actual Visualforce pages, full custom pages. So to me, what I'm waiting for them to do is over on these tabs. This came in spring, where I can actually customize this left nav, and I don't have it in this org. Where do I have it? Actually, is this the? Let me just log into this while we're at it. Uh-oh, internet. Let's see. If I'm in the right tab here, I wanted to show you what that looks like and what my assumption is. And then, like I say, we'll verify you after. So, oh my goodness, where did it go? So this is a demo org I had for a customer for a demo I did this week. It's apparently on the other page. I think I bumped my adapter. Let's make sure it's mirroring instead. Thank you. Got it? Perfect. I'll zoom in a little bit. Make this. So if you notice over here, it's just a different, I have some Sales Wave, I have some other stuff. In the background, Sales Wave is us embedding Wave in a Visualforce page. Map Anything, who's actually out here doing a demo, that's a Visualforce Page Tab, right? And so this is, I would say, a preview of what we mean. You can put it over on the left, and you can start a Visualforce, you can have a Visualforce tab. I don't know exactly what it means for individual pages, so I'll have to find out for you.
All right, so we deviated from, kind of the typical Salesforce presentation, a lot of demo, but did that work for you guys? Okay, and Bud is one of the true best sales consultants and he covers.
Can it make me blush?
And he covers the Utah. This is part of his territory, so don't hesitate to stop by the Salesforce Lounge and come by with any questions.
Yeah, I'm just hanging out in there.
Yeah.
If you find me sleeping on a couch, wake me.
All right. Well, listen. We thank you for your time. Appreciate any feedback, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Okay.